welcome back to Moments with Kathy. So y'all, we're gonna have a little chit chat about back to school, okay? So on the east side, y'all, on the east side of the country, a lot of folks are going back to school. I know not all, but here in Georgia, a lot of them are going back to school. It's their first day back to school, so happy first day. Hopefully this video will be up by that time. So anyhow, they have gone back to school. And I know some have not, some go back in September, but anyhow, a lot of them have moved up and the date has moved up. So let's talk about how we can do a little bit better this school year, y'all. Because listen. I really am kind of tired of, it being so much confusion, so much of, just negativity when it comes to school. Now, so today, or in a lot of other places, people are excited that their children are back to school. They're like, yay, let me do the dance, let me do the dance, let me do the dance. But then other people are like the teachers, they're like, oh my God, here I go again, what have you. And so let's have that talk on how it can be better, okay? And so the first thing I would say is make sure that you're communicating with the teacher. Make sure you're communicating with your child, your children, whoever. Make sure you're communicating with them, the counselor, the principal. Don't just send your children to school and not communicate, not be the one to be involved, okay? Even if you're not like a soccer mom, basketball, cheerleading, whatever, if you're not that type of person, but just being involved when it comes to your children being in school. So when it's time for you to talk to your teachers, or when, even before that time, this week or whenever your children go back to school, that whole entire week, it's a good time to say, okay, get to know my child. My child likes this, and this. Especially if your child's a little bit hype or what have you, make sure that you're able to say, yes, my child might be a little bit of hype or what, but I, do different things, or this helps her, or this helps him in order to, calm them down. Every teacher's not fun and like, oh, yay. All teachers are not like that. And so you have to be able to give them a little bit of room. Some teachers are boring. And so you have to give them some room to be who they are, okay, the teachers. And so knowing that your child is either hyper or either, quiet, tell your teacher, that, hey, my child is quiet. They're not going to talk a lot. So when you call on them, they're going to be like, what she called me for? She know I don't feel like talking. Why she calling me? So y'all need to make sure y'all letting them know that your characteristics of your children, because you know them better than they do, okay? Now, some of them have been in that particular school, since day one, and others is this they're in a new community. Others is their first year or what have you. And so, the whole entire, teacher hub may not know them. Okay, so make sure you let the teachers know who they are. Let them know their characteristics and all that great stuff, okay? And then you get involved, with the school system, making sure that how your teacher acts, not how your teacher acts, how your child acts at school, what have you. When your child's at home for the summer, when your child was home for the pandemic, how they act. They weren't on Zoom. That. You know how they act. They was sitting down, honey. They was doing all this. They was doing that. They was like playing their little games and stuff like that. That's what they was doing. They was not paying attention. So therefore, if they weren't paying attention, then they're not going to pay attention at school. So it's important that you know that, and that the teachers know that as well. Also make sure you're talking to your lovely children. Allow them to know their expectations. Also, have bedtime. Have time in which, hey, this is the time we're going to bed. This is the time we get up. We're going to, eat a nice good meal. Some people like to eat breakfast in the morning. Sometimes it's still a little bit too early, but, if they like to eat breakfast or a snack or something like that in the morning, go ahead and give it to them, okay? Just be involved. Another thing with bullying, my daughter, she's 22 now, so of course I don't have to deal with that. But dealing with bullying, y'all, is something that's very important. Make sure that the school system is fair, because I feel like when my child was being bullied, I was up there a lot, child, why are you, because she would be the one to be like, listen, You ain't gonna keep on bullying me. You ain't gonna keep on doing this, okay? So come on, let's fight. Come on, let's argue and stuff like that. All children are not created the same, okay? And so, once you know that, the other person needs to be getting chastised too, not just your child. Okay, I think only maybe one time the other child, and she was a bully to a whole bunch of people, she ended up getting in trouble then, but it was not all the time. But they were always calling me, your child this, your child this, your child this. I'm like, what are y'all doing with the other person? Come on, help me. And so that's why I ended up homeschooling, because I got tired of that. I got tired of telling her to sit down, her to be quiet, da 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 da, do, and so it wasn't always horrible. My daughter actually wanted to stay in school. She did not want to homeschool, okay? But she did end up liking the homeschool. I ended up doing K-12 program. We started it in Indiana. I love their K-12 program, and so it was very good. But I did that for like a year and a half or so, and then I had my own curriculum that I did the following year or 2 years later, what have you. And that one, I loved it. However, I wish I would have probably stayed with K-12, because at that particular time, I was going through some things. I was going through depression. I was going through anxiety. I was going through things myself. And so it really wasn't a good time for me to stop and just do it like that. You have to know yourself, okay? Excuse me. And so in me knowing myself, I should have did it right then. But it is what it is, okay? And so you have to know your children and what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what they love, what they don't love, and what works for you as well. Okay, make sure you're involved. Make sure you know how you like your pampering days and stuff like that. Make sure you give that to your children too, whatever they like to do. So of course, everybody like little shopping, their favorite little stores and stuff like that, or getting games or what have you, going to the movies. Make sure you're doing that with them, so they will have an outlet, because they're at school like you're at work, all the time. So just because they're in school, it doesn't mean, okay, we can't travel. It doesn't mean that we can't go to the mall sometimes. It doesn't mean that we can't do the favorite things that you like to do. You have to figure out ways to do it. Even with our daughter being 22 and, of course we're older and things of that nature, we still try to find things to do, even if it's like going to a favorite restaurant, y'all. So make sure you're finding things to do with your family, okay? Just because you're in school don't mean that it's a stop sign. No, it's not. It don't have to be a stop, okay? And so make sure you're just getting involved with one another. You're talking, you're listening to your child when they say they're getting bullied, when they say they love their teacher, when they say they don't love their teacher, when they say the counselor ain't talking to me right or whatever. Y'all listen to them, okay? It's not always the children's fault. It's not always the teacher's fault. Y'all make sure that y'all listening to everybody, okay? So you can make a sound decision. Don't go up there just being smart all the time. My child, I know my child, da-da-da-da, and do-do-do-do, when it's your child the whole time, okay? Or either it's the teacher's fault or whatever. But we want to just try to, keep it calm and cute, okay? So, make sure that you're checking yourself, as well as, and what I mean by that, you're not just all leaving everything up on the teacher or the counselor or the principal, what have you. You're making sure that you're doing your part, okay? Getting your children involved in school, you being involved in school, you being involved with the teachers, the counselors, and things of that nature as well. If you want to homeschool, finding great homeschooling programs. Like I said, I did K-12, but there's tons of programs out there. There's also private homeschooling programs. Get with whether you homeschooling or not, get with other parents. You can do ride shares, you can do outings together, field trips together, not just the field trips that the school put on, if they still do. Do they still do field trips? I don't know. So anyhow, not just the field trips that they do, the field trips that you do with your children or with your close, besties for school stuff or whatever. Have you an environment that you can do all of that with, okay? I'm just saying. But anyhow, but y'all, this has been my little chat. I want y'all to, in the comments, let me know how you feel about it. What is your experience? Like I said, my daughter's 22, so I don't necessarily have to deal with the school, different things like that. I might just help out family sometimes, but I am perfectly aware of the school system and things of that nature, and how it can be stressful, okay, and how it can be fun, and how it can be a learning experience and which it's supposed to be. So y'all comment below, y'all little rant, y'all little chit chat, you know. And if you've made it to the end of this video, I want y'all to do a little schoolhouse. Y'all, down in the comments. Again, this has been Moments with Kathy. I love y'all, appreciate y'all, and I'll be back with y'all again in a couple of days, couple of nights, okay? Peace.